Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a patient that you've told to do something like stretching, and you've told them over and over and over again, and every time they shake their head and say that they're going to do it, but they don't? Of course you have. My name is Dr. Russ Rosen, and I help natural healthcare providers like you thrive in a care versus scare true optimal health model. I was having a conversation with a wonderful coaching client of mine, and he was frustrated. He didn't know how to handle this because this particular patient is really sick. He works with a lot of very sick and chronically ill people, and the person had very high blood pressure, does absolutely no movement whatsoever, just sits on the couch, eats, watches TV, obese, very high blood pressure. And he's trying to get him to start to do some form of movement, start to stretch a little bit, get up and move a little bit, walk a little bit, that kind of thing. And he keeps bringing it up. And the guy keeps saying, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. But then he doesn't do it. And this doctor asked me, he said, what do you do with that? What do you do when you bring that up? And they just go, yeah, and he said, look, I mean, do you want to end up in the hospital again? No. Do you want to die? No. Well, then will you do this? Yes, I'll do it. But that's not going to work, right? They've already had that conversation. It's not going to work. So, what I want to do is share with you this conversation that we had of what I might do with a patient like that. In essence, I'm going to understand and use the neuroscience of communications. I'm going to recognize that the only way I'm going to be able to get the information across to this person so that they will take action is to get it past their reptilian brain, which is survival, into the neocortex where they think, reason, and problem solve. It makes sense to them that they want to do it. It makes it to the limbic system as a new belief system, and that it's emotionally moving them that they want to do that. I'm going to use something that I came up with called LASER: listen, acknowledge, ask, solution, resolution. And it's really listen, acknowledge, ask, acknowledge, ask, clarifying questions until we come up with a solution. And the difference between a solution and a resolution is a solution is an idea that will fix the problem. A resolution is it's an idea that will fix the problem that you and I both agree to. We both see that this will be a solution. So when I asked the doctor, I said, what happened in your conversation? He said, I got frustrated. I asked him, do you want to have the hospital? Do you want to die? He said, no. Okay, well then do this. And he knew it wasn't going to work. So where do we go from there? So the first thing that I'm going to do with this guy is I'm going to acknowledge and I'm going to say, look, I want you to know that I understand it's very difficult. You haven't done a lot of movement, you haven't done a lot of exercise in a long time, you're not feeling well, right? You have a lot of extra weight. I'm just going to acknowledge it so he knows that I understand how difficult that is. So I'm just going to acknowledge that. And then I'm going to start to ask some clarifying questions. Now, in this particular case, and there's a million ways to do this, I'm just talking about the conversation this coaching client of mine just had with me. The first thing I want to do is ask him if he understands why I'm recommending some light stretching in the beginnings of some movement, literally like a 5 minute slow walk or a 10-minute slow walk. Like, does he understand why I'm recommending that? Does he understand how that could possibly begin to help with this myriad of health issues that he has, one of which is his very high blood pressure, which is really what this conversation was about. So, um, I'm checking my notes here because I just made some notes on this. So again, lots of different versions of this. The first thing I'm going to do is ask him, do you understand why I'm asking you to start to stretch and move? And the most common answer is going to be sure, because you think it's going to help. But I'm going to say, yeah, yes, definitely. But how? How is it going to help? Now, the odds are they don't understand the physiology of how this is going to help. But if he doesn't understand how it's going to help, why this is going to help, the only reason he's going to do it is because you told him to. And may get him to start doing it, but it's not going to get him to keep doing it for most people. Now, this guy has proven that we've told him umpteen times before and he hasn't done it. So he's not going to do it this time, right? If you ever read, I forget the name of the book, but Fear, Facts, and Force don't cause people to make change. So, or at least long-term change. So just scaring him into, you don't want to die. It's just not going to last. It's not going to work. So the first thing I got to do is, do you understand why I'm recommending that? Do you understand how that can begin to help your health and how that can begin to help your blood pressure? And he goes, well, no, I really don't. Okay, so now I need to start to see if I can help him understand. Now, I'll give you an answer. I don't know enough of the details, blah, blah, blah. But I might want to help him understand, look, your heart is needing to pump blood to all the areas of your body, and then it needs to get that blood back so we can pump it back again. But when you've got this extra weight and you have no movement, it's very difficult to get that blood there, and then it doesn't come back and it starts to pool. So it has to push harder, and it has to push harder, which increases the blood pressure. And as you know, you ended up in the hospital. That can kill you, which we don't want. So the reason why I'm asking you to begin to stretch, the reason why I'm asking you to begin to do some movement is because, and I'm going to help him understand the physiology so he can go, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. And that makes sense that if I do this, it could begin to help me with the things that I want to get help with. Okay? Contracting muscles, moving blood back, all that kind of good stuff. So I'm going to get to the place where I'm going to again ask a clarifying question. Do you see the value? Yeah, it's great. Explain the value to me. I want to see that he really gets it. Now I'm going to ask him, do you want to? Do you actually want to start to stretch? Do you want to start to move? If the answer to that is no, I'm not going to now teach him what I want him to do. He doesn't want to do it. He's not going to do it. So if the answer was no, I need to fix that, right? I don't want to for any number of reasons. I need to fix that problem with him or it's not going to work. So I'm not going to waste my time teaching him what to do. That's what so many of us do is we go, here's what I want you to do. We go right to the solution. Okay. So do you want to do it? Let's assume he says yes, or he said no, and we fixed that. Um, and it could be no, I don't really want to because I don't know what to do because I've hurt myself before. So I got to fix those problems for him. Yes? Okay. So we get to the place where he says yes. And now what I need to do, I need to move this over so I can see my notes. Now what I need to do is I need to find out, do you know what to do? Do you know what kind of stretching to do? Do you know how to do these stretches? Do I want you to walk for 10 minutes and I want you to breathe in through your nose, 4 count, and blow out your mouth through your nose, 6 count. And this is why, and this is like, I want to be very clear. I don't want to just say, go at it. This guy's a couch potato. He doesn't know what to do. So do you know exactly what I'm asking you to do? Well, I've told him 20 times before. The odds are the answer is no. They've just been in denial. They're not really hearing it. So I have to be very specific about my directions of exactly what I want him to do, why I want him to do that. I won't just say breathe in 4 through your nose and out. I'm going to help him understand this stimulates the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is going to stimulate your rest, digest, and heal versus your fight or flight. You're stuck in fight or flight. You can't heal when you're in fight or flight. I want to move you into rest, digest, and heal. And this is one way to begin to do that. So I'm going to make sure it makes sense to him. I'm not going to ask him to do things just because I said so. If that was going to work, it would have already worked, right? I'm going to be very clear with him. I know that you used to run, 4 miles a day. It's been 22 years. Don't go try that. Just do this. I want to make sure that whatever we ask him to go do is easy, that he can have success, that he's not going to injure himself. So he can come back and say, I did that. And I'll go, great. How'd that feel? Well, I feel a little bit more energy. Great. Can we bump that up a bit? Could we go to 10 minutes twice a day? right? And I'm just going to walk this person through finding solutions that are going to work for them. So if they then don't do it, it's not because they don't understand it. There's another issue. It might be a neuro-emotional issue around it. If you do QNRT or neuroemotional technique or any of that kind of stuff, you might go there. It might be that they just don't know how to do it in their lives. When would I do it? Blah, blah, blah. Have them read Atomic Habits. Really great book. But we can clarify the problem, the solution becomes self-evident, right? And we can come up with solutions for our patients. So what I know to be true is by not understanding why I'm recommending it and only doing it because I said so, that's not going to work. Then I'm going to check in with him. How does that sound to you? Does that feel right? Does that make sense to you? Are you motivated to do this? The difference between solution and resolution, solution, this is a solution. Hell, it was a solution when I just told him to do it and he wouldn't do it. It's a resolution when he wants to do it too, when we both feel really good about it. And we got there by understanding the neuroscience of communications, by understanding laser, listen, acknowledge, ask, solution, and resolution. And we got there by not just getting frustrated and telling him to do it again or throwing our hands up and saying, then screw it. But we took a moment to dive into this and to acknowledge and ask clarifying questions and find a solution and find a resolution. So I hope that made sense. Let me know your thoughts. Either if it's via email, email me back. If it's in social media, go ahead and type your thoughts in there. Let me know your thoughts. If you have any other questions, any other things you'd like me to make little videos on, I'd be happy to. Look, if you want to thrive in a care versus care true optimal health model, if you want to help people get healthy and stay healthy and have the best life possible, I can help you do it. I have more doctors right now fully waitlisted, meaning more demand than supply, only internal marketing than any other time in my 26 years of coaching. So I hope you found that valuable. Please share this with other folks. Let me know your thoughts. As always, much love and aloha.